Welcome back to The Late Show Live. Now, a bit of a change of gear for you. A father of three has self-deported from the United States, flying 8,000 miles back to Kenya after fearing President Trump's immigration crackdown would tear his family apart. So Samuel Kangethi, who'd lived and worked legally in Michigan, United States for years, left his wife and kids behind after a green card blunder made him fear being picked up by ICE and locked in detention. ICE, of course, being the immigration authorities this side of the pond. His wife, Latavia, says she's now raising the children alone, though since the story broke on CNN, donors and well-wishers have poured in more than $15,000 on GoFundMe to help the family out. Well, joining us down the line now to discuss this is the mother of three herself, Latavia. Latavia, thanks for your company and thank you for sharing your family's plight. Just explain to us, please, your husband, he's gone home to Kenya. When did he go? When could he maybe come back? And what was the blunder with the green card?
So he did leave in late August, just before the children started school. The reason why he left was because he was in fear of, immigration stepping in and taking him another place outside of where he resides where he lived in Kenya, where he's originally from. And then we really don't know too much as to whether or not he'll be able to come back. He has a court hearing, I believe it's on the 23rd of January of 2026. So we are very much so hopeful that that goes well for him. I know everyone here really misses him a lot, especially his children. But it has been really hard on all three of them, everyone involved.
Yeah, the poor babies, of course, left without their father. He came over to the United States initially on my panel here, by the way, Victoria and Angelina. He came over, of course, first of all to the United States on a student visa, right?
Yes.
And then he married, then he got divorced, and then he married again. He got married to you. He was granted an extension to stay in the United States. He could still be here legally until January. So my question, I guess, is why has he decided to self-deport when he's been allowed to stay until at least the court case?
Yeah, so it really, as I mentioned in a lot of other interviews we did, it started to kick off shortly after the holidays, I'd say around New Year's, once, the administration changed over. And I think it just put a lot of fear on him. And I could only imagine being in another country where you don't really feel like you really have a place there, a permanency, even though he's never been in trouble. So I think it took a bit of a mental toll on him. And then from that point, he started seeing things on the news just like others. And it really did scare him to the point where he was like, if I sacrificed leaving, my children wouldn't have to go through even more trauma, seeing me getting taken away by ICE. That was something that we really couldn't change for him. We tried for a very long time up until the point that he left. Victoria,
President Trump's fans, the MAGA support group, they celebrate the fact that illegal migration now in the US is down to pretty much zero. Would you argue cases like this is the collateral damage? I mean, he's not been kicked out, but he self-deported out of complete fear.
Well, I think that the immigration system is definitely very complicated, as I've talked about on the show numerous times before. It's one I've been through myself. It's one that my husband's been through. And so, my heart definitely goes out to you. But, do you, I'm sorry, I've totally forgotten your name.
Latavia.
Latavia. Sorry for that. Latavia, do you have confidence in this administration, and particularly in Secretary Noem, who has said that people that self-deport are going to be able to come back, or are you a little bit doubtful of that rhetoric?
I'm hopeful, but at the same time doubtful, just because of the simple fact that we all know immigration is very much so, a broken system. I wish that there was a lot better of a way that we could support people that come here for the right thing, but unfortunately, at times like now, that appears to be the main focus. So I think I'm just holding more and leaning more into my faith more than anything at this point, because it's really much like an unknown thing that we have going on. It's not normal for your children and your family members to have to endure something like this.
And Latavia, what's Samuel up to in Kenya? What's his day-to-day looking like? Is he working? Of course, you've raised £15,000 through donations to help fund your family. But, I mean, what's Samuel up to in Kenya? And where is he? Nairobi?
Yeah. So he's in Nairobi. He has family there. He's got his sisters and brother, and then his mom's still there. So right now he's not working. It's pretty hard to find a job there, I believe, even with his background and all the education he has. So I think he's just taking a lot of time to see friends and family that he hasn't gotten to see in a very long time.
Okay. Angelina, this is, I guess, the price you pay if you come in on a student visa. There's an issue with your green card. You have to go, and hopefully, as Victoria said, the administration, or at least the immigration authorities, will credit Samuel with some good faith, the fact that he's self-deported. But I guess this is what people voted for, no? This is why President Trump had a massive landslide victory.
I mean, first of all, my heart goes out to your children and your family. I'm sure this is a very difficult time for them right now. I can't imagine how traumatic it is to have your father separated from you. Well, the children, their father.
Oh, sorry.
And look, I think this is a result also of just Trump's approach to immigration. It's been so chaotic, and we're not being careful on a case-by-case basis of who we're deporting. And I think that parents especially of American citizens, and someone who's married to an American citizen, I think that we should really be looking into these cases at the highest scrutiny to be, is it worth tearing these families apart and causing this type of trauma? And I think this is the type of backlash we're getting from having such a chaotic approach to making sure that all the illegal immigrants are out of our country, instead of just looking at, okay, maybe this person does have a place in our society. They did come here originally legally. Their green card is back and forth, but how can we make sure that this family stays together?
Yeah, Latavia, last word to you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying, last word to you, just the final word. Where can people donate if they want to, and are you hopeful of getting Samuel back in Michigan?
We are hopeful, especially for the children. They're missing him a lot, doing a lot of therapy. And we have a GoFundMe page set up. The link is on the recent CNN release of like a interview that we had done with them. So.
Okay, well, look, best of luck to you. Love to the kids. Whatever the political circumstances, having a father away from their kids isn't ideal. I'd know myself being away from my kids. So, yeah, best of luck to you, Latavia, and maybe we'll catch up in January. Right, let us know what you think on that. gbnews.com/you'll say. I guess, a sad state of affairs. You were right in your comment. You said when you break federal laws, you suffer the consequences. There are many government programs to aid people to obtain green cards and US citizenship. People go for years without taking care of business, then get excited when they know they're in the wrong. Right, still ahead on The Late Show Live.
Hello, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day. There we go. Great guy. What a man.
That guy there was 102 years old, a World War II veteran. Remembrance Day, of course, in the UK yesterday. I was in Washington, DC's version, meeting veterans here, this side of the pond. We'll discuss that next, including the big question which was posed this week by a British veteran. Was it all worth it? This is The Late Show Live. Back in a few seconds. Hello, welcome back. Now, of course, yesterday was Remembrance Sunday in Blighty. I was actually quite sad to have missed it and to play my own part in the commemorations. But I did the second best thing, which was go down to the Veterans Day Parade here in DC, which is pretty much the American version, and see what was going on. Let's take a quick look.
I just want to show you, Nana viewers and listeners, this one chap here who is a 102-year-old World War II veteran. It's the chap in the front wearing the cap. Let's see if he can give us a wave this side. It's I wonder what he'd think of the gentleman who appeared on ITV Breakfast in the week. His name was Alec. I've forgotten the guy's surname. The 100-year-old Brit who said it wasn't worth fighting for. He said the country, the UK, is worse than it was back in 1945. Hello, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day. There we go. Great guy. What a man.
Very important to be here today. Honoring the vets, plain and simple. There's no politics or anything involved with this. We're here to represent the soldiers that fought and are still here today helping each other out. and we also look forward to helping the veterans of the future.
There's a concern in the UK that Remembrance Day, remembering our heroes and warriors of yesteryear, is getting slowly eroded as the generations go on. Do you feel that concern here in America?
It seems that the history is getting lost. It's not, the kids don't know about it. I ask kids about things and they don't know World War I, World War II, and how, more importantly, how things are connected.
Yeah.
Why things happen, how things happen. So, but there's a lot of groups out there trying to fill those voids.
Yeah.
And the great people, there's still some veterans of World War II, and they are awesome. They have stories. And
there's the guy down there, the 102-year-old. He looks in great shape.
Victor, he drinks beers.
Victor.
And his whole attitude on life is, I'm just here to live.
Yeah, 102 years old and still sinking beers. Good man, well done you. Joining me in Washington is my panel, US political reporter for the Daily Mail, Victoria Churchill, and the journalist and broadcaster, Angelina McCarthy. Panel, welcome along. Thank you for your company. I'm not sure if you guys saw in the week in the UK, sorry, excuse my voice, I think it's almost on the edge of a cliff, the veteran, the 100-year-old veteran who told ITV Breakfast about the fact he thought the UK today was in a worse place than it was in 1945. If you've not seen the clip, let's just remind ourselves what he said.
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye there was rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
So I would have loved to have asked the 102-year-old today in DC whether he thought the same thing. He was parading. I thought it was not appropriate. But what's your take on that clip you've just seen there, Victoria?
Yeah, I mean, just look at some of the debates we've been having, particularly on the American right over the last couple of weeks, particularly about Jews and the Holocaust. The latest surveys show that almost 2/3 of Generation Z, that's my generation, I'm very sad to say, isn't aware that the death toll for Jews in the Holocaust was 6 million. 48% of people my age and about 5 to 10 years younger couldn't name a single concentration camp or ghetto out of the 40,000 that existed. I mean, those are shocking statistics, and I think that those who fought, you know, their work is also being disregarded by younger generations, which is very unfortunate because they are the greatest generation. They secured freedoms not only here in the US, but also in the UK. And so many in my generation and younger take it for granted.
Do you think there's a risk, Angelina, that the importance and the significance of remembrance events, as we call it in the UK, or, you know, Veterans Day here, is being diluted as the generations go on? Soon there'll be one day where people just don't know what the Second World War was or the sacrifice that was laid down.
No, I disagree. The Holocaust Museum is a very popular museum in DC. It gets lots of visitors every year. I personally go regularly. It is a great way to remember what happened. We have military parades all over the United States, and I don't think that people are forgetting it. It's also very heavily built into our curriculum as Americans. So I very much disagree with that statement.
Okay. All right, let's bring in Paul Cox, who's down the line from London, GB News superstar comedian. Paul, I'm not sure if you saw the clip of me today down in DC at their Veterans Day, but yeah, well, what's your thoughts on the alleged erasure of our war heroes, our warriors, and, you know, the lives that were laid on the line for the freedoms we enjoy today?
Look, I think listening to Alec, a 100-year-old veteran on another UK channel earlier this weekend was profound. I actually had a debate this evening on a previous show on GB News with Bill Rammell, who's an ex-Labour MP, which is akin to the Democrats for those in the US. And he said that the veteran was wrong and he's entitled to his opinion, but it's not right. And that tells me exactly where we are. That's astonishing to me, that we can get to a point now where a guy, God bless him, still alive, fought for this country, fought for the West as a whole, fought for all of our freedoms, everybody on this panel, alongside our US allies, and has reached a point in his very long life where he no longer believes that what he fought for was worth fighting for, essentially. And not just that, the two interviewers patronised him, genuinely patronised him. Galloway said that she was sorry he thought that way. That's no apology whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the other chap, who his name escapes me now, was right on the tip of my tongue, almost started an argument with him. And we know why that might have been. Look, I think this weekend, both in the US and the UK, we deserve to stop the debate and just pay homage to the ladies and gentlemen that fought for our freedoms. It's absolutely right. It's wonderful to see that the veterans in the US feel the same way. I think we've actually arrived at a juncture across the West now where we've lost our way. We've totally lost our way. We've lost our way to the extent that many, and I'm afraid to say, on the left, don't believe we've lost our way and believe that the way we're headed is the right direction. It's not. We need to value our history. Yeah. We need to understand where history led us, Ben.
And also, I just don't understand people like Bill Rammell who say, well, no, Alec, the 100-year-old who served in World War II, is wrong. Look, Alec was the guy who was alive in 1945, fighting in the World War. He was alive in Britain in the time he's referencing. I don't think Bill Rammell was. I don't know how old is Bill Rammell? Let's have a look. Bill Rammell age. So how would he know? He was born in 1959. So Alec has a factual memory of life in Britain back then. Bill Rammell doesn't. So I just don't understand how they can poo-poo an assessment from somebody like Alec. Well, Victoria, let me just ask you very quickly. So go on, Paul, go on.
Sorry, all I was going to say is Bill needs to say that. He needs to parrot that because it underpins everything he believes. And that's the trouble. When someone who was actually there from history says that they fought for a reason that no longer exists, much to his sadness, someone like Bill and many people of his ilk very much will either have to disagree with that guy or look at themselves, and we know which option they often take.
Victoria, tell us please how veterans are treated in the United States. Generally, are they happy with the way they're looked after by the government and charities after they serve? What's the lay of the land?
Yeah, definitely the existence of veterans charities is quite robust when it comes to the government. I think a lot of people wish that they could do better, particularly on healthcare. This was something that the first Trump administration really pushed, is this idea that veterans could use their benefits outside of the actual VA system. And I think, you know, there's definitely been positive feedback from that because you know, government-run healthcare for the most part doesn't work very well, at least not here in the U.S. And so a lot of veterans, they have, you know, months, if not years-long waiting lists for getting the care that they receive or really that they've earned with their service. And so I think that was a really great step by the first Trump administration to let them use those benefits outside of that government system.
And Angelina, I was reading today around a report from 2022, so the figures may have differed now in 25, but 17 veterans a day kill themselves in the United States, 17 every day. And in 2022, this report focusing on Iraq and Afghanistan, people who had served there, more than 50% of veterans who'd served in those two conflicts had admitted to at one point considering suicide. Is that still a big problem, are you aware of, in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, suicide is the 12th biggest killer in America, right? So that's right up there with kidney disease and liver disease. So suicide's a major problem in America. And I don't think that we're giving vets enough resources that they need. There are a lot of veterans who are out here homeless as well, dealing with the trauma, and because they don't know how to simulate themselves back into society, they're just left out there. So I don't think that we treat our veterans with the respect and human dignity that they deserve.
Although I would argue, I think maybe you guys treat your veterans probably better than ours. For example, just silly things maybe which make a big difference to people's lives. You're allowed to board airplanes first. Veterans are the first group on board. Forget first class or business. The veterans go first. You get big discounts in petrol stations or gas stations, in restaurants, in shops. You've got lots of businesses offering perks and so on to veterans. Paul, how do you think we treat our veterans in the UK?
Well, we've got a huge homeless veteran issue in the UK, and I think that the part of the problem here, and I think it's slightly less of a problem in the US from my perspective, that patriotism is not valued as highly in the UK any longer in the same way that it is in the US. You're much more likely to fly the US flag in a school or at a public event, or be proud to do so. I know we have a lot of division in the US as we do in the UK, but it's almost, I just spent my weekend travelling around doing comedy in the UK, and I happened to go to a couple of places that were celebrating the Remembrance Sunday in a way that you just wouldn't see in London, for instance. This was out in Dorset and in Surrey, counties well outside of London. And what I was astonished by is how people feel so almost squeamish to be supportive of this. To see the Union Jack flying sometimes in certain parts of the UK makes people feel uncomfortable. That's a huge problem, Ben.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get called a bigot or a racist for flying your own flag, which, let me tell you, Paul, if that happened over here, if you went and found an American flying a flag and said, hang on a minute, you're a bit bigoted, I'll tell you, I don't think the outcome would be well received. Paul, thanks very much for your time, appreciate it, and we'll catch up soon. Just one quick note, if anyone's watching this tonight or listening and you're having personal troubles, you're thinking of suicide or anything like that, go to samaritans.org, that's samaritans.org, and you can call Samaritans at any time, even now at this hour, on 116 123. That's 116 123. And just remember, there's somebody always there to talk to. Right, very last bit of news, guys. The government shutdown seems to be coming to an end. Angelina, do you have any latest? What's the latest? I think the Senate have agreed potentially to go ahead and open back up the government.
Yeah, I mean, the government shutdown ending, that would be amazing. We have a humanitarian issue. I know my brother personally, he's in the military, and my niece, you know, they're waiting on their paycheck, so
just
very
explain
excited.
What the problem's been. How does the US work in just 30 seconds? Why has there been a disagreement with the budget? How does it work?
So there's been a disagreement with the budget, specifically regarding healthcare. Now, the Democrats are saying that the Obama healthcare cuts are going to expire and healthcare rates will go up. Now, the Republicans saying that's not going to be a problem. Trump has also come out and said that he's planning to give taxpayers a $2,000 refund next year, and so that may, you know, help with that situation. But right now, they have agreed that they will open it up through January. I believe they'll vote on the healthcare in December.
And Victoria, unlike the UK, where the government of the day decides the budget, where to spend the money, of course here the Democrats and the Republicans both have to agree, right?
Yeah, they both have to agree, and of course this big holdup in the Senate is getting to that 60-vote threshold for fiscal legislation. So, you know, it looks like some Democrats are going to cave. Interestingly enough, not Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is of course the head of the Democrats, but some of his rank and file, it looks like, will switch. And then also this funding package has to go back to the House as well.
Yeah, okay, and it means that the museums will open in DC, it means the botanical gardens will open, so I've got 2 days off now, so maybe, hopefully, if they're open, I'll go and fill my boots. Thank you for your company tonight. Thank you, panel, really appreciate it. Thank you for enduring my voice as well on the Let's Show Live. Bev will be with you tomorrow. For now, good night, sweet dreams, see you soon.